So we know things are going good for Sony right now. We are probably very imminently going to see some announcements for the PlayStation 5 Pro. We know that, they've got probably a good handle on what's going on with the software side of things and things like that. You can't really go wrong, honestly. It's just kind of crazy to see what's been happening lately and how they've been handling things. And Microsoft, on the other hand, have really not done a good job of combating what Sony is doing. And so when we look at this and we go, okay, well, what exactly is happening, what has happened in the future that Sony can do to sort of build on the momentum that they have. And when I saw this, it's like, well, duh, Microsoft is going to continually hit themselves in the foot, and that's not a good thing. And that's why Sony is Sony, because they've weathered the storms, man. They've weathered the storms of Nintendo. They've weathered the storms of Sega. They've weathered the storms of Xbox. It's crazy to think that, but it's just the God's honest truth. And, they probably know that Microsoft is going to do something to screw themselves up and to kind of screw themselves over, and that's going to be something that kind of, comes back to bite them in the butt. And Sony just has to continue being Sony, and I think that's the thing. Stay on track, stay on course is the plan. But this is going to be a very interesting video, and I'm sure a lot of you are going to like it. What's up, everybody? I'm the Crap Gamer, and this is Crap Gamer Reviews, back with yet another video. Thank you so much for checking it out. Please leave a like and possibly even consider subscribing. That would mean a world to me if you guys could subscribe to the channel and help it out. It really does help out a ton. And you know what? That's fine. That's one of the things that if, we kind of look at things and say, hey, things are getting a little bit better. Things are getting, kind of working on the product that I'm putting out here for everybody. And I'm very appreciative. I do daily gaming content. So, that's, again, something that I feel is, very important in the market and things like that. So we'll see how everything goes. But, again, thank you guys all for joining me. You guys are amazing. And, again, like I said, I think that Sony is in just such a very good spot right now, and basically the spot that they're in is the one that is absolutely dog walking Microsoft. So let's take a look at this and again, this is the exact opposite of Xbox. See, Xbox is going to screw themselves over, and it's true. So PS5 reportedly selling out in China and other places due to Black Myth Wukong. The demand for the game has resulted in PS5 scalping once again. Now think about this, right? Xbox saw a bit of an uptake in their games getting bought, and the reason why they did was because of the NCAA football game, right? Because you have a very cheap port of entry for that game. Everybody's talking about it, especially here in the US, and everybody wants it to be, a game that they're going to play. It wasn't available on last-gen consoles, and so people want to play it. Black Myth Wukong, very similar situation, except for there is no Xbox there to play. There is no version of the Xbox for you to be able to play that game. So, again, we find ourselves in this very interesting situation, and I think that it really kind of goes to show that right now Microsoft is really kind of struggling while Sony is kind of reaping all the benefits of the Xbox struggles. According to consultant Daniel Camillo, the console is selling out across China with stock at the country's largest electronics store struggling to accommodate demand. According to the report, the demand is resulting in scalping and reselling of the console, which hasn't been common since the PS5 first 2 years. Now, the successful launch amid controversy involving reported demands sent to influencers interested in covering Wukong that they keep politics, COVID-19 references and feminist propaganda out of their coverage. Some game science developers had been criticized for a reported history of making crude and misogynistic comments on social media. Again, a lot of this stuff had been unfounded, but what happens is, believe it or not, IGN owns most of the reporting outlets, even like Digital Foundry and stuff like that now. So, again, if you have a group that's saying, okay, well, they're saying misogynistic comments or whatever, are they really, or are they just okay with men being men? Like that's the thing, you know. I think that so often people are looking to get, you know, offended by something, but I always say you have the right not to get offended, because, you know, so often these days where everybody is kind of like, oh man, I can't believe you said that or whatever. It's like, I've never ever thought that there was a problem with with men or anything like that. I feel like, you know, people are like, oh man, it's misogynistic men, or it's you know I've never really thought that. I thought, if anything, like, people, there's not enough strong male role models out there, you know, and I think that is, you know, can lead to some big problems in and of itself. So, you know, when I look at this and I go, okay, well, look, PlayStation, they're like literally selling out of their consoles. It's crazy that Microsoft has missed the boat. And I mentioned this in another video, because of a memory leak, right? Which is a problem that Xbox has had numerous times. So they miss out on like the biggest game because of a memory leak. I mean, think about that for a second. A freaking memory leak. That blows my mind that something like that has happened, because you have all these engineers, you have Microsoft, you know, and then you think, okay, a memory leak. How the hell did that happen? Anyway, a lot of impressions on Black Myth Wukong. Called the game a beautiful game. It's gorgeous, technically mighty. You know, again, the gameplay, which was developed by Shenzhen-based studio Game Science and is based on a Chinese novel, Journey to the West, was received for PlayStation 5 and PC. Within hours of its release, it attracted over 1.44 million concurrent players on Steam, according to the Tracker Steam charts, which means it's already the platform's fourth biggest games ever in terms of concurrent players. The numbers crossed over 2 million as well. Wukong is above recent single-player games like Cyberpunk 2077, Elden Ring, Hogwarts Legacy, and Baldur's Gate 3. Only Counter-Strike 2, 1.81, and Palworld 2.1, and PUBG 3.25 million have ever had more concurrent players. And so, you know, it's kind of crazy to think that we've had so many hits. Again, like, I wish that this was my type of game, you know, but, you know, listen, Palworld wasn't my type of game either. You know, I did play PUBG when it was on Xbox there at the front, and, you know, towards its release on the Xbox, and I thought that it was a pretty fun game. But the problem for me, and the reason why it sort of ran out of steam for me as a fan, was because the gameplay was just so janky. You know, like, I hate to say it, but it was really janky gameplay. It never felt like it was completed. Whereas, and I get that it's like different types of games, but if you have ever played, you know, Fortnite, or, you know, a real polished game, the shooting, everything is so good there. It's hard to really go back to, you know, such a janky gameplay stream as PUBG. So yeah, I mean, I know that game's still popular and people really enjoy it, but you know, it's one of those things where I do think that Microsoft has, you know, a lot kind of going for themselves, and, you know, I honestly feel that they could have bought PUBG at a time when it was its most popular, and they'd have like a game that still tops the charts on like Xbox and PC. But, you know, they chose to buy other things that, you know, nobody's going to play, you know, and I think that's weird, because then they try to turn everything into like this game that, you know, is, you know, and then they get rid of stuff like Hi-Fi Rush, which I thought was just a brilliant game. And, you know, we'll see how this stuff works out, though. You know, like I said, we all have things that we enjoy playing, and it's going to be very interesting to see how Sony reacts to this stuff. But it is nice to see that Sony is doing well for themselves, and clearly they've got a lot of positive momentum through games that are exclusive, and sometimes like Wukong and Baldur's Gate 3 that aren't even exclusive because they had to pay anything. You can't get that kind of momentum and that kind of advertising for your platform, right? Just a trouble-free platform for the most part, right? I'm not saying they never have issues, but man, to me, it does not make sense that, you know, that Xbox has had so much trouble with stuff like this. And, you know, and it's their own fault, to be completely honest. So we'll see what happens. I'm very interested to hear what everybody else has to say about this. I'll link it in the description. And, you know, again, Thank you all so much for joining me. Please like the video and share it out and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Those things can help out my content tremendously and help out my channel. I'm always constantly rebuilding. You know, it is what it is, but hopefully you guys are enjoying it, and we'll catch you next time. Rack 'em up. Crap Gamer out.